Алексей, здравствуй. Давай начнем сразу с самого главного. Тебе наконец-то назначили соперника UFC.
Alexey, soon you are to fight versus Daniel Omielanczuk. How do you see him?
Можешь о нем пару слов сказать?
В принципе, по стилю он считается совсем разный.
His style is rather different. He tends to work in a stance, and he is a two-time Thai boxing champion of Poland. As for me, I'm not much of a hitting technique expert, as I neither took part in such contests nor won any. He has already had 5 UFC fights, and that's a pretty lot. He's been a UFC fighter longer than I have, and he has more victories. By the way, he has never been defeated ahead of time. One simply cannot knock him out or exhaust, so he is rather tough. His wrestling is quite good as well. He usually works in a stance, and if rivals get worn out, or if Daniel lands right shots, he takes his rival down and tries to dominate and to tighten his grip. And if you wear a rival down, then you're free to use any move you like.
Если человека замучить, то ему можно сделать уже все что угодно, там любой прием, любой удушающий.
I know that before the appointment was made, you tried to call out tougher guys like Bigfoot. Aren't you disappointed? Not at all. Bigfoot bears a famous name, and everybody knows him. He is a Brazilian star and a menace to Russian fighters. It's him who defeated Emelianenko. We had other negotiations and almost heated agreements with Roy Nelson. We considered Roy Barnett and Aguera, but it happened so that I was scheduled against Omielanczuk. I've heard that you were involved in that meldonium scandal. Well, I was lucky enough to steer clear of it. It was an ordinary doping test, not a meldonium test. There are different kinds of doping: testosterone, GH, that much feared meldonium. Lots of them, actually. I tried meldonium once in my life. It was 2006 or 2007. I didn't need it actually, but my pals talked me into it. I took these pills after a training session, but saw no effect. The guys asked me whether I felt anything, and I said that I didn't. They considered me a strange guy, and that's the whole story. But it was 10 years ago. Everyone is still sure that meldronate is not a stimulant. I don't really care about tests, and I take no drugs, so there are no worries. The only thing that may show up is sequences of my operation. I was operated on in October or November, but I presented the whole list of meds. There were about 20 of them that I had to take. These were painkillers, sleeping aids, and etc. It's unlikely that I still have them in my blood, if only traces of them. Tell us about your health. You had several knee operations, so how are you now? Well, I had an operation, but in 5 months it turned out to be unsuccessful, and the injury, a hole in the cartilage, so to say, got worse. They suggested another operation that, with a little bit of luck, would make it better, but I said thanks for nothing and went to Germany to undergo a different operation, and it was different in type and as to medical care, and then I felt better. So my health now, well, my health is healthy. How was your preparation for the fight? Did you train in Russia? Exactly. Everything was the same, my coaches and my sparring partners. Most of our fighters aim to train in famous gyms of the US. What do you think of it? And do you plan to go there as well?
мигрировать в этом плане?
Могу поехать, и мне интересно поработать. Я уже давно запланировал травму.
Well, I'm quite positive about it, and I do plan to train there. In fact, I planned a long time ago, but my injury prevented me from going to Albuquerque and training with John Jones. I love to work with high-class athletes. You learn a lot from them despite having a long sports record of your own. There are lots of new things to discover. 2 or 3 years ago, I had very prolific time with Alistair Overeem. We went to training camp together and had joint training sessions. I learned something, perhaps he learned something in his turn. I liked it a lot, and the guys that came with me liked it as well.
И на слуху, и которые умеют достаточно многое. 2-3 бойца есть, с которыми я хотел бы поработать.
There's a couple of fighters who might eagerly work with, for example, with Verdum and John Jones.
Есть бойцы, с которыми мне там, я, наверное, ничего не наберусь там, либо...
There are also fighters from whom I cannot learn anything new, like Travis Brown or Ben Rothwell.
Огромные ударники, то есть они...
These are huge, strong and powerful guys, but they won't teach a thing, as they are hitters, and we are very different anthropometrically.
Меньше я могу научиться чему-то, чем того же, я сказал, Джон Джонса чего-то, или Вердума, или, может быть, Веласкеса.
You mentioned Verdum. What do you make of his last fight with Stipe Miocic? Before that fight, I said that Miocic is very strong and Verdum would have to invent something like that, like in that bout with Hunt if he wants to win. Miocic is physically strong and he is good at fighting, and after wrestling, Miocic seldom gives anyone a chance, so it's hard to counter him.
Поэтому, с таким бойцом очень тяжело работать. И Вердум работал там.
I thought the bout would be just like Verdum versus Overeem, or if Verdum blows his top and resorts to wrestling, then he might get a nice walloping, and he eventually got it.
Зарубываться, то есть и попробует как бы себя почувствовать там вольготно в стойке, то может и получить. У него так и получилось.
Do you think Miocic is to remain the king of the ring, so to say? It depends on the contenders. Miocic is young and strong. He fought many top guys like Hunt. He had infights, for example, Dos Santos. There are no good wrestlers to counter him, even in the top 10, bar Velasquez and Barnett. The rest is hitters. Let them try him. He is tough enough to keep the title for a while. He is not a champ for a day. Do you represent any club now? I train and work on my own, without a team. So you're ready for offers? Yes, offers are welcome, and I'm ready to negotiate any sound sports offer as long as it's free from politics.
Я с удовольствием, договоримся, я думаю, будем работать вместе.